number is, please note, the new number is.
Welcome to Black Telephone TV.
Today we have Cynthia Pelayo with us. She's joining us from Chicago, Illinois, I believe. And we're going to ask her 3 very difficult questions, and she's just going to answer however she wants to, or however she can, for that matter. So are you ready?
I am terrified, but yes, I am ready.
Okay, so the first question we have for you is, please tell us about the strangest bit of communication you've ever received.
The strangest bit of communication I've ever received. Oh, this is really strange. I was with my then boyfriend, and we were walking downtown along like Grant Park, and there was like a little fair going on, and there was a woman that she had like her little psychic card table set up, and she was like, come here. And I said, I don't have any money. Like I had literally had like no money. I was like 18. And she's like, no, I don't want your money, but I really need to tell you something.
Wow.
And my then boyfriend was my husband now, and he was just like, she's gonna scam you. And I was like, well, she can't scam me because I really don't even have I'm a kid. And so I went over there, and she took my hand, and she said, that boy that you're with, he's gonna be your husband, and you are. And I was really scared. I was just having a lot of anxiety at that point because I didn't think I'd ever go to college, or college was a possibility. And she said, you are going to go to college, you are going to graduate, and everything is going to be okay. And I just started crying. And she just like patted my hand, and she's like, oh, and he's going to be your husband, it's okay. And that was like, I just remember crying that entire like walk. And Jer was like, I can't believe it. It's just, we'll see. So, but it was lovely.
Got chills. That's incredible.
It was really emotional, and it's funny then because that type of communication has happened similarly to my mother too. She told me something similar happened to her one time leaving the grocery store, and a woman stopped her and said, I forgot what the thing was, but it was something that was very pertinent to what was going on. And I don't know if my mom and I just have this weird allure, but that was probably the most special and impactful.
I love that so much. There's so many bad psychic stories. Like at the beginning I was like, okay, this sounds familiar, because I remember a psychic calling me over when I was living in New York, and I just moved in with Christoph, and he said the same thing, like, she's just gonna scam you. I'm like, no, I gotta see what she's gonna say. And she's like, I don't know, she was totally off. She said my aura was white. Well, I don't know. I actually don't know what color my aura is, so who knows? But it doesn't, and she's like said some stuff about how I'm not going to be with him, but obviously I'm with him, so.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's the best answer I think we've gotten for that question yet.
Yeah, I love that. That made me tear up a little bit.
That was really good.
It's so beautiful. Okay, next question. Riskiest form of communication that you have ever attempted?
Riskiest form of communication. I'm trying to think of something that's a little spooky, but I think it actually didn't happen to me. We were at Bachelor's Grove Cemetery here, like right outside the city, and we had taken some friends with us, and it was Halloween, and it's supposed to be like the most haunted cemetery. Everyone's got a town. Every town has got a cemetery like that, and it's an abandoned cemetery, and so we brought our 2 friends with us, and they said that they were going to go hiking around like the perimeter. It's in a forest preserve, and it's completely abandoned, and it's just a scrubby little parkland, and most of the tombstones have been like kicked over and broken, and there was like a bunch of kids that were saying they were satanic worshipers in like the 70s and 80s, and they were just kids that were out there drinking and bored. And so I remember walking over to like this really stagnant pond, and the rumor was that Al Capone would like dump bodies there. So like, let's go over there and check it out. And then I just kind of started talking like, if there's anything here, make yourself known. And not too long after, our 2 friends come running up behind us. Well, it was like a while at this point, but our 2 friends come running up behind us, and they said, we need to go now. And we were like, okay, we thought maybe they saw some creepy guy in the forest, and they didn't want to talk. Like, they were pale. We got in the car and they said that they just kept wandering in a loop. And like every time they would pass like a corner, it was like the same corner, and they couldn't get out and they were trapped. And so, I mean, we weren't drinking, we weren't doing drugs, we were just like regular, just like going to see this little cemetery. So, I mean, I believe my friends, they're both pretty like put together people today. I mean, they're engineers. And so for them, they're very scientific. And for them to be that scared and panicked about something, I was like, this is, I wish I would have seen it, but they were really upset by it. And I don't think they will hang out with us when we say we're going to go to a spooky place anymore.
They can't trust you. You're too spooky.
Yeah, we're going to
in a deep pond to be dumping bodies in.
It's this really
Is it
briny kind of pond, and there've been like people have claimed to catch spirits and photos there. Of course, orbs, but I'm like, orbs could be dust or reflection.
It's a big pond. It's pretty big. I mean,
the pond is pretty, like the pond is a good size, and there's all kind of rumors about that pond that people have said at night you see like a funeral carriage emerge from the pond with like a horse in the carriage. This is pretty intense. So,
dang.
I'm gonna put it on my to-do list.
Yeah, I wish I would have seen something.
I literally just bought a book about haunted graveyards. Like that was literally my last book purchase.
Bachelor's Grove. If it's not in there, I'll send you the link so you can check it out.
Yeah, totally. Sure. All right, next question.
That's cool. Okay, next question. Tell us about the biggest failure in communication that you've ever been a part of.
The biggest failure? I'm trying to think of something interesting. I mean, I've been to the London vaults. Scotland vaults before, and I was kind of hanging back there, like after the tour, to see if anything would happen, and kind of like wandering around, and I just got kind of creeped out. But it could have just been because of the space. Of course, Ouija board. I've done Ouija boards. I've done. Nothing's ever really happened with the Ouija board. I'm just like,
that is a failure.
It's always a failure.
Honestly, so. I don't recommend Ouija boards. The spirits do not like being poked and prodded. You know, they'll come if they want to talk to you. Like people think they can just like. It's funny. We were just talking to Charlene about the like poke mechanism on Facebook. One of her answers had to do with that within her failure of communication answer. It's like that, you know. It's like poking.
Yeah.
They're like.
I think people are scared of Ouija boards just because of the movies, but I'm like, I've never had anything. I have like a Ouija board in the attic that's like been there, you know. It's just like they're just I don't know.
Going right here.
It's never. Look at that. It's never.
Wow, look at that.
Wow.
Nice.
Fine. I was one interesting story though. So I was at the occult bookstore here in Chicago, and my friend owns the store, and so I just kind of stopped in. I got off the bus, and I was like, "Oh, let me just stop in and just say hi," because I would just kind of hang out there to see my friend who owns the place. And I remember one day, this is kind of cool. This really beautiful woman walked in with all these 2 or 3 little kids, and she said, "My nieces and nephews want to learn about the Ouija board." And like his wife, the owner of the store, was like, "Sure, let's go back and I could teach you all about the Ouija board." So she took like the cool aunt, went her nieces and nephews, and they went back there. They did like a Ouija board session. And I was like, that's how you teach them, I guess. So
I couldn't believe it. At Borders, Barnes & Noble, I keep saying Borders, even though it's gone. The New Age section at Barnes & Noble, the one near me, it's massive. It's a whole entire wall, and they just reorganized it and revamped it and stuff. And they just got in like a whole bunch of Ouija boards. They're all lined up along the top, just like, here, take your Ouija boards. Like, it's crazy. I love it.
Yeah, people love the aesthetic, and I mean, there's some really pretty ones, and I mean, there's this allure, like something. Well, this is a way to make something happen, but there's a lot of people that I know, me included, as a kid, nothing ever really happened. So
I've never messed with one, not even once.
Yeah, I had a friend when I was little that told me this really scary story. I think she made it up though, but it made me really scared of Ouija boards.
I'm not scared of them. I just never have. Like it just has, I don't know how, it's just never come up as an option
Well,
ever.
next time you come over, we'll talk.
They don't like to be poked and prodded, right? I get that.
Yeah, and maybe it's probably just not, especially when the majority of people who have probably played with them have done it as a kid or with a group of people, and so I could see where I don't know, but nothing happened.
I mean, you don't know who's going to talk to you. That's the problem. To me, that's the main issue with a Ouija board is somebody might be talking to you. You don't know who it is. You know, you have no idea who's talking to you. So it's like a party line.
Yeah.
So would you like to read for us? We would love to hear you reading. This has been it's been my favorite part of doing this whole series is just watching the readers read their work. It always comes alive in a new way. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm excited. So I'm going to go ahead and read the 3 poems that I wrote for the Black Telephone magazine. It's so beautiful. I had it downstairs on my desk and I don't know why I didn't bring it up, but I have my phone, so I'm going to read it from my phone, but it's beautiful. So the 3 poems together are called A Story in 3 Parts. And the first poem is Missing Girl. What was she wearing? Where was she going? Do either really matter? What matters is she is all gone. Silent cell phone, getting dark, car keys found dangling, a spot of blood smeared across passenger window, no cries heard. Call in the morning, she'll be home soon, but time warbles. Missing poster picture, fades, birthdays missed. Kisses forgotten and lovers abandoned, and that car sits rusted and weightless, clutching onto her secrets, a seashell playing back recorded screams of terror, lost hope, lost life, lost. And the second poem is Detective Story. The detective story is an intellectual game of things once there and things rearranged. Water, books, letters, keys, a herring so red. Give the reader ample opportunity to solve the mystery. No willful tricks, do not play. Deceptions, but let's play with the detective. Rules, no love interest, never the perpetrator. The detective must be continually turning, making calculations, as Dupin says, ratiocination. The crime must be solved by natural means, and there must always, always be a body. And the final one, which I'm going to take a sip of water because it's just one long sentence. And I do that sometimes with my poems.
I reread it right before we started recording. I was like, holy crap. I forgot that it was one long.
Yeah.
It's nuts. This whole paragraph is
Unbroken.
Unbroken.
that's one sentence.
So,
Nuts.
skull behind a wall. Sometimes you know no one is ever going to find you, and sometimes you relinquish your grasp, your hold on this world. You close your eyes and you allow those silent, anguished, warm tears to roll down your cheeks because they are real and they are yours. And no one and nothing can rip them away from you as you were ripped away from this world. And your screams are yours, and your memories are yours. And you wish you had one more time to tell them all you love them. You wish you had one more time to kiss the noonday sun, and you wish the last scent that you smelled was not the ogre above you, and you wish this was not the place you would haunt for years and years before they found you covered in burlap and no way to find you and no way to find you. And you will never go home because home was years ago and home was them, and all of them have died, and your memory fades as they faded, and you are released to your second death, all because an ogre stole you away.
Wow.
So those 3 were inspired by, I've been playing with writing true crime poetry. And that mostly came about because there's just so much, I love true crime. I consume a lot of true crime, but I feel like I wanted to be able to, in an artistic manner, communicate how really awful these things are that have been done to these people, that we consume them as material and as content. And that's something that I've been grappling with and struggling with myself because I play into it. So I just wanted to have a space where I could honor that tragedy and really highlight that this is a tragedy anytime we lose someone to someone else thinking that's okay to take somebody. So
Yeah.
That really stood out to me when I first read these 3 poems. I thought, like, for sure, this is someone who's taking it very seriously, that like true crime is fun and sexy and compelling, but it's also, you know, this is like somebody's life is gone and that somebody was probably somebody else's world, and it's more than just fun and sexy. Like there's a lot of darkness and terror and sadness there.
I
So
love
good.
that you bring us into, you know, the person who this is happening to, you know, so you feel that loss, you know, and the loss of, say, you know, in that last one, a possible phantom, you know, how do you feel years and years and years after your tragedy has happened, but you're still stuck in it and you're just stuck. Like it didn't just happen. You're not alive and you can't move on. You're just.
it's anguish. I think it's this awful, heavy anguish. And I personally feel that energy just becomes energy. Like even if we're gone, we're still energy somehow.
Mhm.
And to think that in a place as, you know, as normal as a house, that something awful could have happened there. And then it's just a matter of painters coming in and slapping up some paint. That's still the space that something awful happened. And that was a person's last moments staring up at the ceiling or staring up at that doorway and wondering if they can get out. And I don't think we think about the true terror and heartbreak that that really means. So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Oh,
This is amazing.
thank you for having me, and thank you for the questions and letting me read. I really appreciate it. And I love you both. I could hang out with you both, and I can't wait till pandemic is over so I can hang out with like writerly people, because this is.
I know. Do you go to conventions when they're happening?
I've gone to like not a lot, but like I'll go to StokerCon or I'll go to, you know, local conventions here in the city. So I'm like, I have a lot of a lot of anxiety, so sometimes it's really hard for me to even leave the house or like be around a group of people. But I've been trying to go to readings as much as I. Sorry, my husband keeps texting me like, we ordered food earlier, so that's why you hear the beep. He's like, the food's here. But
that was the ghost. That was the ghost.
Yeah. So maybe I'll go to a few once pandemic is over. We'll see. See how things go.
I can't wait for that real life interaction. But I also love, you know, the upside of all this, you know, on the theme of communication, you know, we lost that, but now we have this, and this is just incredible. You know, we're all in different states, and we're all talking and we're all communicating and connecting, and it's happening, you know, and then we'll share this and people will watch it and share our conversation. So it's kind of, because of the limitations and the lockdown, it's forced us to open up our possibilities and use our resources to really connect, you know?
Yeah, and these moments of connection, we probably wouldn't have had this if there wasn't.
Maybe not.
Yeah, so it's nice that we can spend time, and I can look at this gorgeous fireplace. So you're beautiful. Ooh.
Blue walls, vintage fireplace. Check out this.
So awesome.
Record player.
Yeah.
So cool. I love your space. One day I'm gonna get my own little. I need to do. That's my to-do this spring. I need my own.
It's so
these people.
Being a writer, like having your own space, it's just it's beyond, like Virginia Woolf said, you know, a room of one's own, you know, you need that.
Yeah.
You need at least that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you, Cynthia, for coming on and sharing your beautiful poetry with us and your wonderful stories, eerie stories.
Thank you.
Join us next time.